what I think is so far the best visual analysis of the murder by Border Patrol agents of Alex Preddy. It is by Debunction Junction. Check it out.
With all the misinformation going on right now about ICE murdering 37-year-old Minneapolis resident Alex Peretti, I just want to set a couple of things straight. And just like the shooting of Renee Good a couple of weeks ago, the Department of Homeland Security decided to lie about the circumstances of this shooting from the very beginning. Here they say an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun seen here, and they do show this gun right here. But as I showed in this opening still, this is cell phone footage of Alex Peretti being approached by an ICE agent, and you can see he's only holding a cell phone in one hand and has an empty hand here. And this is the beginning of that unedited cell phone footage where you can see Alex standing his ground and the ICE officer also standing his ground. But as this guy approaches, you're going to see they are the ones who are the aggressors and push Alex back as he's only holding a cell phone. He does not have a gun in his hand, only a cell phone, and they are the ones taking that interaction to him. But the obvious question is, did Alex have a gun on him? And the answer is yes, but he did have a legal right to carry it. As this news story states, family members said Peretti owned a handgun and had a permit to carry a concealed handgun in Minnesota. But even though the video shows that Alex probably never even had his hand on his gun, that didn't stop the DHS from saying this looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. And as further evidence that Peretti was not there to commit violence against ICE agents, I offer this up. These are two protesters that Peretti is actually trying to protect. He's actually trying to protect them from them. He gets bear sprayed. He turns his back to the agents to try to protect these women, and they end up grabbing him and taking him to the ground. Now, this is where they're being violent towards him, not him being violent towards them. And as further evidence that Alex was not there to commit violence on ICE agents, I submit these two clips that I've synced up together here. And if you look down here on the bottom, this person in the brown coat, that is Alex there. And if you watch, as this ICE agent's foot clears, you can see that Alex has two hands visible, not near a gun. Now, this is just 8 seconds before he shot. So let me go ahead and play this forward. And if you didn't see it before,
good morning, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Let It Be Known. And more, the situation is just out of control in Minneapolis and elsewhere. Niele.
Peace and love, everybody. I'm Niele, and yeah, Stacy. But there's a lot happening in Black America. Of course, that's the national story, but we have a lot more headlines for you. A CBC member is retiring. A Black man is exonerated. Very touching story coming out of that. And over 500 Black women sue a medical center for $6 billion. And we'll tell you why today. And of course, yes, that is the story. But I think that once we get into it and take a deeper dive, I have another take on how I think the media and Democrats are missing the big play in this whole scenario with the murders of Alex Preddy, Renee Good, and Keith Porter.
Well, RNG says he doesn't see the difference. Cops lie when they shoot, kill, and beat Black people, even with video evidence. Black people never receive the benefit of the doubt. White people, welcome to our world, he says. No truer words. And speaking of ICE, it's a big shakeup. Greg Bovino has been removed from his role as Border Patrol Commander at Large and will return to his former job in California, where he is expected to retire. Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski are reportedly also at risk of losing their jobs. You have a Republican governor for candidate out there in Minneapolis, Chris Medell, saying, you know what, I'm out. I'm not running. I can't do this as a Republican. And, so he's taking a stand. Even Governor Hot Wheels is saying, hey, y'all need to recalibrate. He's telling the White House. He's saying that some respect has to be reinstilled. That's coming from Governor Abbott of Texas. Mm-hmm. And then you got supposed Democrat Senator John Fetterman out of Pennsylvania, who now has softened his support of ICE in his latest social media post after his wife really took ICE to task. Before her post, he was all in for ICE. He had made some really strong comments supporting ICE even after these incidents that we see. Wife made a passionate statement saying that this is not American. This is not what America should be about. And of course, Fetterman, he knows what side of the bread is, what side his bread is buttered on, and maybe he don't want to sleep on the couch either. So, but also, Niele, it has been confirmed this morning that ICE will patrol the Winter Olympics.
Oh yeah, it was also reported that they will be at the Super Bowl weekend after next as well. But I think, with this story, we see, Trump pushing back from this scenario. And he's talked to Kristi Noem, she's going to be a scapegoat, right? And so we have all this focus on the head of the ICE and then the other one coming in. But at the end of the day, if Democrats really want to make and do a chess move, the focus should be on Stephen Miller. Because if you go after Stephen Miller, then a lot of this stuff will disappear because he is the shot caller. It's not Kristi Noem. It's not the one they're sending back to California, and it's not the one that they're bringing in. It is the direction of Stephen Miller that's pulling the trigger on all of these things. And so just like in the first administration, when they kicked out Steve Bannon, enough was enough. That's the play that Democrats should be talking about and should be pushing back in headlines instead of just, what we're seeing today. I want a big play. I don't want this, shuffle, let's shuffle the deck. No, let's burn the cards.
Yeah, it's gonna. Burn the cards is what's needed, but are they going to do that? Are they?
I mean, they did it with Steve Bannon. They finally got him out in the first term. They got him out. So I think it's how you do it. And there's no Stephen Miller is now hiding in the closet. His name is nowhere in the headlines today. There were nowhere, but pretty much, except the only headline is that he started the narrative, right? He started the narrative, but look who's paying the price. It's Kristi Noem. And the other guy, it's not him. They need to go after him.
Yeah, make no mistake. You shed no tears for Kristi Noem if they get rid of her. That's for sure.
But she's not the problem. Kristi Noem is not the problem.
Oh, she's a symptom of the problem. I know.
She only does what she's told. If they told her today, Kristi, stop, pull all the, she's gonna do it. She's not the problem.
There's no, she's part of the problem. She's a symptom of the problem. I'm not in any way exonerating her in any way. This is a vile, evil woman, and it is enjoying the nasty work that they are doing.
Kristi Noem. I don't want to talk about her. I want to talk about no, only in response to what you said in your story. I'm saying, to me, the bigger play, the focus should be on Stephen Miller. That's all I'm saying. It should be on him.
Without question. And he while he's been relatively quiet, he did come out and say that, or at least there was a statement attributed to him saying that he's not entirely happy with certain things. I'm pretty sure that those certain things was not these murders, though.
Right. Exactly. 100%. And just want to go back to Nancy Wall and Patricia. I'm with y'all. Hit the like button, subscribe to Let It Be Known, to Black Press USA. Hit the like button, tell a friend that the conversation for Black America is over here at the Black Press with Let It Be Known morning show. How about that? I love that. Hit the like button. Let's get that going. And subscribe, like and subscribe. To your point, for me, I feel like the Democrats, they're missing another moment. This is the moment. White folks are pissed. Okay, they pissed. They out there banging on pots and pans. They blowing whistles. Keep the pressure on where the pressure is going to apply the most. And it is not with Kristi Noem. It's not with these low-level DHS and Homeland Security folks. It is with Stephen Miller. That is who is pushing the buttons on everything that we're seeing happen with ICE and the killing of Keith Porter, which was a Black man, Renee Good, and Alex Purdy. Those are the people. Steve Miller is to blame. And if Democrats would because all of this now that's happening is because they know that next shutdown is looming on Friday. They know that that's happening. We talked about that yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so all of these moves and Trump call, it's all theatrics. Hit him where it hurts. Get rid of Stephen Miller.
Well, that's a good point. I just don't see it happening in this administration, though. I really don't, Niele. That's unfortunate. But you're right. He is. There's no question. He is the issue. He more so than Trump, more so than J.D. Vance, and more so than Russell Vought. I mean, he is the issue.
Get him out. Get him out. Just like they got rid of Steve Bannon the first term, he should be the first big pawn to fall within that Trump administration. Is him. And then you can go after the tech people and these TikTok people and Hegseth. Get rid of Stephen Miller is worse than Hegseth, than the Secretary of War now. He is the culprit. Get rid of him. That's where the pressure should be.
Well, and I don't think that the Democrats and other people are unaware of that. I would like to not think that they're unaware, because if they're unaware of that, then wow.
I don't think it's the fact that they're unaware. I think it's the lack of strategy and making moves, because you have a shutdown looming Friday. And it's like if you're going to get rid of anybody or push to get rid of anybody, because all of the focus now is not on Stephen Miller. It's on Bovino. What's his name? Bovino. And it's on Kristi Noem. And when you have these committee hearings from Congress and oversight, I don't want to hear from Kristi Noem no more. I didn't hear from her. I want to hear from Stephen Miller. Put the pressure where the pressure is, because the reality is he's the one that's driving the Klan. Him and Steve Bannon are the ones that's driving the Proud Boys. If you want to cut them off, go to Stephen Miller. And even if I would hope that Democrats could walk and chew gum at the same time. Split it up. Half of y'all do oversight and half of y'all go after Stephen Miller. Come on, let's play, because people's lives are in jeopardy because of what this Trump clan is doing. And it starts with Stephen Miller.
Yeah, well, there you go. It does.
It does. So, and speaking of Congress, and let's talk about the Congressional Black Caucus, where Eleanor Holmes Norton's campaign has filed a notice of termination for her reelection. And of course, they did this yesterday at the Federal Elections Commission. Now, Norton has served as the non-voting representative for DC since 1991. Norton's office had no comment when asked about the termination report, and she has not issued a statement about her retirement. Norton is 88, and we know last year, even Donna Brazile did an open letter to her, just saying that she has been a mentor to her. She has the utmost respect and love for her, but we need some fresh new leadership in that seat. And so finally, I guess she's heard what the people, and they've been talking to her quietly. Mother Norton. And, she still, she hasn't released a statement, but filing the paperwork means that that seat is open, and we'll see who fills those spots.
Yeah, she's been there since what, 91?
Yes.
1991. Yes, it's been a long time. And I will say this about Eleanor, as Dire Straits media, particularly Black-owned media, she's been the one constant trying to assist She forced a couple of GAO, General Accounting Office reports on government spending and Black media. She held a couple of press conferences on Capitol Hill with the Black press. And here's the other part of it. Norton told the Black press and others, she says, I did my part. Now go do yours. Go get that money. And I'll never forget it. She really has bent over backwards. I mean, this is not the most important thing she's done in her career, obviously, but just bringing it to a more personal level, what she has tried to do for Black-owned media, particularly the National Newspaper Publicists Association.
Mhm.
But her problem has been, particularly from the National Newspaper Publicists Association, there's no follow-up. And that's not her problem. She did what she was asked to do, and she fought hard to really break out all the reports we see about how much the government, and this goes back, decades, how much the government spends with media and how much they spend with Black-owned media. It's paltry compared to overall media, and she exposed all of that.
Mm.
So and more importantly, though, she has been the foremost champion for DC statehood. She thought maybe a couple of years ago, when I spoke to her a couple of years ago about DC statehood, she was very confident that they were as close as ever
Well,
to DC statehood.
Since you're saying that, Stacy Greer, you did it last week. I'm going to throw it out there this week. Since she was such an advocate for the Black press, maybe we should honor her at our reception.
I think she is a much better choice than others that have
might
been
be
honored
something we need to do.
in the past 6 months.
Let's get that letter to her and honor her, and celebrate her and her being a strong advocate for BlackPressUSA in NPA.
She really was.
There's some people in the chat that are talking. I saw Mike V and Orange. Orange says, keep it real. The Dems are scared to get rid of Stephen Miller. That's hilarious. Mike V said, Niele, it's not just a bad apple, it's the whole damn tree. Austin Cooper said, even by Barbie doll standards, Nomi looks simple and fake. Frank Verroman says, do you really believe this stuff? And then Patricia Jackson says, we got y'all. Orange says, oh, Donna didn't write a letter to Nancy or Chuck. Uh-oh.
Hello. I can't disagree.
And Mike V says, whole Republicans go younger with candidates. Democrats would rather die in office.
But go ahead.
Patricia says, Democrats act now with exclamation points, but I don't have much trust in that party. So yeah, Elizabeth, I gotta read hers. She says, the Trump clan, come on, I believe in Trump and am not Trump clan. I just don't understand why stick up for party who ran our country into the ground. Girl, bye.
But you know what? Here's the problem. One of the many problems, and I'm with you, girl.
You have many beautiful Black conservatives.
But here, beautiful. Wait, name them. But here's the thing: it's not about sticking up for another party. This is where some of these Trump folks get so confused. Some of these so-called Black conservatives get so confused. No way, at least from here. And I don't think it applies to Niele either. It's not about trashing the party and picking the Democrats over the Republicans. It's about what this administration has done to ruin this country. When you see all these white folks getting killed and out in the streets marching and protesting, there's a problem.
It's pretty much about humanity. And how you treat people.
It's not about sticking up for a party. Nobody's sticking up for a party because we have and we will and we continue to lambaste the the weak Democrats. We have said it forever how weak they
Yeah.
are. But y'all don't come out and say, oh, this is a, but you come out with Trump because you're drinking that Kool-Aid like Jim Jones, and you are mesmerized and hypnotized, and you can't get it together. You can't reason. You can't reason. What nobody could look at this stuff and say, if they have half a heart, half a brain, and say this is okay. So it's not about picking a party. Anyway, you were reading some more stuff.
No, no. I
You're
mean,
done?
the chat is going. The chat is going. We'll tap back in with the chat. But you were saying it's not about party, but your next story
They are
has to
making
do
it about
everything.
party, though.
The next story has everything to do with which party is going to stand up for America.
Yeah, it does. My mic is out.
Okay. So I'll pick it up. So we talked about this yesterday, and we have another government shutdown looming. And one of the sticking point is the funding for DHS. And so we'll see what happens on the Hill. This is one of BlackPressUSA's papers, the Washington Informer. It says, as another shutdown looms, DC braces for pain felt first by Black workers. And so all of this is contingent upon, funding for DHS. And the Democrats, the few that said that they were going to originally vote for this bill after the murder of Alex Purdy, they decided that they're not. So here we are again at another shutdown.
Another shutdown. And there are people who still haven't recovered. A lot of people haven't recovered from the shutdown that lasted from October 1st to November 12th. And a lot of people didn't get benefits or paychecks, and some people got partial benefits or partial paychecks, and they're still trying to recover. Because guess what happens when you miss paychecks, folks? When you miss paychecks, then you got bills that start to pile up. And once you finally get
seriously, is that
right.
what happens, Stacy?
But it seems like people don't understand that. It seems like people don't understand that. And some people get overdrawn on their accounts. Some people get credit card fees build up, and then they give you a little something and they expect you to be okay. A lot of people have not recovered. They have not recovered. And now we're about to midnight Friday or midnight Saturday, however you look at it. There will probably or possibly be another government shutdown, because now Schumer wants to tie this to the funding of DHS, whereas the Democrats in Congress, 7 of them went along with the funding, but Schumer's saying that the Senate is just not, the Senate Democrats are not going for it.
Yes. Greetings from Siberia. Zippity doodah. Welcome to
Siberia.
America. Welcome to Americans' version of headlines from the Black perspective. Welcome and come on in.
Yes, listen, Siberia is probably as cold in the northeast United States as it is out there in Siberia right now. So join us. Thank you.
So to your point though, Stacy, about people are going to miss paychecks, they can't pay their bills. Seriously, there is a group of America like the 1% who can't relate to those type of issues.
Exactly.
And those are the people that say, pull them up by the bootstraps and these lazy people. And it's like, no, you guys have made it to where a day's work doesn't amount to a day's pay. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's saying in the Bible that y'all evangelicals read. A day's work for a day's pay. Eat, drink, and be merry. We can't eat, drink, and be merry because we're not getting that day. We working the day, but we're not getting the full pay, or we're not getting the pay that allows us to live. But meanwhile, y'all living.
Right.
And so it's
and
just
then
the have and the have-nots.
it's so diabolical for them to, you mentioned the word lazy or whatever, for them to refer to anybody as that, because none of them, just about none of them, I'd say all of them, these modern day billionaires, they didn't earn it. It was passed down for the most part.
Right.
So get a grip.
Right.
Get a grip. So chat, yeah, you had a lot to say about everything else. I want to know what folks got to say about Kanye West addressing the Black community in full page apology, citing mental illness and accountability. He took out a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal and directly addressed the Black community, apologizing for actions he says caused deep harm while describing a decades long struggle with untreated brain injury and bipolar disorder that he says culminated in a destructive manic episode. He says, to the Black community, which helped me down through all of the highs and lows, held me down through all of the highs and lows and the darkest of times. The Black community is unquestionably the foundation of who I am. I'm so sorry to have let you down. I love us, he says. Problem 1A, you took that ad out in white-owned media and you're apologizing to Black folks. Stick a fork in that.
I mean, great point. Great point. Kanye has an album about to drop. And so, I mean, there you have it. He has an album coming out. And you know, it's like if you're a Kanye fan, you're a Kanye fan. If you're an R. Kelly fan, you're an R. Kelly fan. If you like Diddy's artist and his music, you like Diddy's artist and music. You know, I mean, and at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. You know,
yeah. It's time to put new music out. He wants Black folks to buy it, like he wants everybody else to buy it. So, what Nicki Minaj gonna do? Go ahead, Greer.
So, two things I want to say. I don't know if any of you have ever watched the Game of Thrones, right? But it was running on HBO recently, so I started binge watching it again. But Kanye reminds me of one of those fanatics. There's a character in there that they become fanatics, and they get, they have to go to the red. I think that's what they called it. And I mean. So you can't trust anything that he says. And I think that you made a really good point, Stacy, about, not putting anything in Black-owned media. But here's the question I have. I was somewhere recently and listening, and Step in the Name of Love came on. Mm-hmm. We talk about our artists. Like, how I feel is like, okay, there's some things are just off the table. We can't get rid of Step in the Name of Love. Like, no Black person is not stepping to that song. Can we, when a person does horrible deeds, can we separate art from the human being?
Right.
I mean, really, I'm just, like all those who loved the work of Bill Cosby, He's a man. First of all, we have to stop worshiping, human beings. They're flawed. But can we separate Kanye's genius from his deeds? I mean, he did what he did, and I'm not forgiving him. I would be honest with you, I'm not one that's going to forgive him. Okay, But in terms of his art, can't say that I can give that up, because it was, it was meaningful. And I think that's a question that I like to pose to our audience. Can we separate? Are we willing to give up Step in the Name of Love and let R. Kelly go?
Well, there you have it. Yeah.
Well,
I
think.
Yeah. Can you separate the art?
I mean, I said that before you. Yeah, I said that. I said Diddy. I brought up R. Kelly. He's coming out with an album. I said it. I mean, I have. I've never stopped listening to R. Kelly. I've never stopped watching the Cosby Show. I watched the Cosby Show just yesterday on the grill. So I mean, yeah, I can. He's coming out with an album, and I hope that he brings Sunday Service back with Jason White. I mean, I loved it.
Dr. Marilyn says that she's a mental health professional, so she says she's glad he is normalizing his bipolar diagnosis. at least.
See, he got a little sympathy from Dr. Marilyn. You know,
Yeah,
it worked on
but
her.
it did, and you know, Dr. Marilyn is, you know, she's, you know, she's let us know many a times the type of person she is, and you know, and forgiveness is there. But I'm with RNG. He says typical Black conservative, when they hit rock bottom, they come back begging for forgiveness. The Kardashians' curse is real, and goodbye, Kanye. I hope you enjoy your White Lives Matter shirt.
That
And
is
so,
hilarious. But the thing
well, but
about
that's the
Kanye,
thing.
let's be real. Kanye has been off the rockers well before him being MAGA. You know, remember he went and snatched the award out of Taylor
Right.
Swift's hand. So, I mean, he literally is like 1 and 1 is 4.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he definitely
But
has a 5150.
5150. Every time you say that, it makes me laugh. But it's just the way you say it too, 5150. But my point, and I think RNG's maybe part of RNG's point, I'm not sure, but I agree with RNG because of how it happened, when the timing. I mean, you want to go off at a time like now, like Nicki Minaj, and now she's, you know, tripling down. She's going to be at this thing with Trump this week. You know, this is not the time.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the time when he went off on George Bush and said in the middle of an American crisis and get on TV and say George Bush doesn't like Black people. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Kanye has a pattern of doing the wrong thing
Mhm.
at the wrong time. It's a pattern with him. So whether it's George Bush and I think it was 9/11, you know, whether it's the MTV Awards with Beyonce and Taylor Swift, whether it's MAGA, you know, it's never
Yeah.
the right time when he does it. It has never been the right time.
Well, I mean, this is crisis. This is life and
Well,
death, and
so was when
you
he
want,
said that about George Bush.
you think so? I don't think it's not the way
At
it is
that moment in
at
time,
that moment. Okay.
I'm not talking about at that moment in time. That was the most tragic thing happening in America.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the most tragic time. You just don't say that. You just don't do it, Kanye. You just don't do that. But he's
Yeah.
just always been unfiltered.
Yeah, like I just find it very difficult to overlook folks when they do certain things. Like I said, Nicki Minaj. To me, there's no coming back. There's no coming back. I don't care what happens, even if it happens 15 years from now. There is no coming back. None. Austin says we can
Well, you
separate.
got to ask the Barbs about that. You know, maybe not for you, but for
Well,
the
right.
Barbs.
Listen, people are going to drink Kool-Aid. They're going to drink that spiked Kool-Aid all the time. But Austin says we can separate from one's personal faults and admire their greatness. Michael Jackson, JFK, MLK. He says not to condone anyone's inappropriateness.
Right.
Fly Live 585 says Kanye used mental health every time except to make that money. Right. Dr. Marilyn says, all right, Niele, using clinical term 5150. Yes, the impulsive behavior is part of the diagnosis. I'm not making excuses, just calling a spade a spade.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. My pastor, Bishop Noel Jones, well, he was my pastor at the time, taught me that term because we had a lot of mental ill patients that would come because his word for whatever would soothe their hearts and minds. But before service was over, he would always he brought up the term 5150 and he said, I don't care how good you feel, I don't care how good the spirit moved in your soul, take your medicine. Take your medicine. And that's true. You know, that's where Black folks coming in with therapy. You know, church can make you feel good, but sometimes you do need to sit on the couch. You know, and so that's where that whole term 5150, I learned it in church because it's like you can get your spiritual food, Dr. Marilyn, but at the same time, you can sit on the couch too. Church not going to solve all the problems.
Well, Walter Hines Geese says people will always draw their own lines and limits
Take your medicine.
in a free society. Yeah.
I don't know, honestly, that if Kanye took his medicine, that
Right.
his words would change. I think that he would just perhaps be clearer. And I think also with
and not that erratic behavior.
Right, exactly. And I think that also, you know, as far as coming back, you know, I mean, people took back old girl went up in the White House, Omarosa.
Omarosa. Mm-hmm.
You know, so she was able to come back. But I think that it also depends on the depth of your betrayal. Like Candace Owens could never step foot. Okay, she could not, and it's on site. I mean, it is what it is. You know, she asked for it, right? Nicki Minaj, I don't think you know, she has her barbs, and I think most people who follow her are not people who are following politics or really even understand what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? Until it knocks on their door. And you know, her wealth and Kanye's wealth, you know, it protects them. So and their popularity, of course, you know, it protects them. So
the only thing they have going against them right now is age, because as they get older, the new generation is going to come in and they're going to be the Four Tops and the Gladys Knights, you know, in a minute. So, you know, they could very well, as age progresses, just fall off, you know, because Nikki ain't going to be able to get out there. She going to look crazy with pink and blue hair at 55.
But guess what? Let's
you know what I'm saying? So, you know, they age is against them too.
Dropping faster than and going to than Kanye any day. She hasn't made enough of an impact for her to make this, you know, to take the stand that she's, you know, made. And you know, she's offended a lot of her gay male audience. They are out. So you know, she doesn't have as far to fall as Kanye. People still forgive.
The shame of it is that most people believe she's doing this to try and get a pardon for her brother and her husband, or just a husband. Listen, these Hollywood marriages end. What happens after? What happens if that happens? You get him a pardon and he walks. He's able to go. He's able to leave the house. He's able to explore. You know, what happens then?
Don Lemon said that she could be deported. So maybe it's not just him. Maybe it's her and
That
her
too.
brother.
Oh, that too. Absolutely. Dr. Marilyn says, I wouldn't doubt if Nikki has her own mental health problems.
Cardi B said it. Cardi B said it, and she said that her husband be keeping her doped up upstairs so he could spare her credit cards. That's what Cardi B said, okay?
And she must have gotten some intel because
no, she said this. Cardi B said the streets be talking. You think that more boys that be going up in your house don't come back and say what's really going on? She said the streets is talking, boo. That's how she knew about the son. I was like, child.
Well, she had receipts. Oh my gosh. RNG says there is illness and there's Kanye. He tripled down on praising Hitler by Kanye, he says. And Dr. Marilyn said, this is what I say too, Dr. Marilyn. Breast implants and BBLs at 80 years old, that's a crazy sight.
And what about the tattoos? The tattoos, you know, the tattoos and all that body child. I'm like, oof, it's gonna be a hot mess. That's what I'm saying. They got age working against them too. And so, you know, it might not transcend in the future to younger generations. And if you didn't pissed off our generation, what you got? You know, that's why Keith Sweat, New Edition, Tony Braxton. I mean, that's why all these people can keep touring. Erykah Badu, they can keep touring. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not really problematic. But y'all, you know, Lauryn Hill pissed off people because she wasn't showing up on time. She had to get that together.
Right.
So they think about it.
Well, speaking of getting it together, you're not going to like this story, Niele. Daylight saving times is going to come early this year. March 8th is the date. It's the earliest possible arrival of daylight savings time when Americans nationwide will drag themselves out of bed feeling like they've been robbed of precious rest. At 2 a.m. that Sunday, clocks will spring forward, launching the annual debate about whether this twice yearly ritual should finally be abolished. I know that this administration has talked about abolishing it.
Yeah, I know most people like longer days instead of longer nights. So chat, chime in. Do you like longer days or longer nights?
That hours.
I prefer longer days. The sun in the summertime. In the wintertime, I like longer nights. But in the summertime, I like long in the springtime. I like longer days. So I think they should leave it.
Okay, I was going to say, so you're for the status quo.
Yeah, leave it.
Yeah, listen, I don't have a problem with it either. I'm pretty much like you. Summertime, yeah, give me my daylight, and then wintertime, I don't mind it getting dark at 5 o'clock or
Yeah, I
whatever,
don't mind. I don't mind
And
that.
that hour of sleep, I think, isn't that only like for the first night or the first couple of nights you feel
Yeah.
it? So after
Mhm.
that, it's like, okay, whatever.
Right, right.
Mhm.
In more news, as we continue to focus on Minnesota and ICE and all the problems that they are causing, and states and cities are concerned about ICE coming to their city and town. Last Friday it was Minnesota. Now this Friday it's a nationwide shutdown. No work, no school, no shopping.
Mhm.
They're saying ICE out for Keith Porter, ICE out for Renee Good, and ice out for Alex Preddy. And so this, just economic United States shutdown is definitely growing. They had one back, I think it was in November. And then we saw what happened last week in Minnesota, where the unions joined in and said, when the unions join in, I mean, you're talking about teachers, you're talking about healthcare workers, you're talking about custodian, you're talking about bus drivers, you're talking about trash people. When unions get involved, that's massive. And so now, just this morning, from DL Hughley to Black Lives Matter to Until Freedom, now you have these organizations jumping in on this. So
Yeah.
by Friday, we might be in another phase of protest, which can really hit corporations and Trump where it hurts.
Mm, yeah. Well, listen, folks they're feeling what black folks have said all along. Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Fannie Lou Hamer, she
There
said
you
it
go.
best.
That's
She said it
exactly
best.
the
And
originator.
the originator. And speaking of Fannie Lou Hamer, I'm gonna switch it up since you brought up Fannie Lou Hamer, because they took her organs. They gave her a hysterectomy and she didn't know about it, which brings us to this story coming out of where over 500 women, mostly Black and on Medicaid, are hitting a Virginia hospital with a $6 billion lawsuit. And this is according to the Atlanta Black Star. Now, in the lawsuit filed back in December in Chesapeake City Circuit Court, it's called the Chesapeake Regional Medical Center. And 5 CEOs are being sued for letting Dr. Javed Prawise continue practicing medicine and seeing patients despite several red flags. And let me tell you about the red flags. Attorneys say hospital bosses ignore countless warnings. Babies rush to neonatal ICU at normal rates. Shady billing tricks like calling inpatient surgeries outpatient for quick cash, and techs refusing to assist the doctor because they couldn't see what he was cutting on.
Mm.
Now, Dr.
Great.
Pawai is currently serving a 59-year prison sentence on healthcare fraud charges after being accused of tricking low-income moms into unnecessary C-sections, hysterectomies, and sterilizations without actual consent. Now, he brought in over 18 million for the hospital from Medicaid between 2010 and 2019, making him a top earner, and doctors and these CEOs turning their faces when they knew all this was going on. This is today, y'all. This is not Henrietta Lacks days. This is not Fannie Lou Hamer days. This is today.
Mm, mm, mm. And again, like you said, they turned their heads because he was bringing in this money, and that's the thing. This is why you know what have you done for me lately is the thing, right? You brought in that money, money. Uh, Forget it. I'm done with this. This guy, execute him. I
I
think
mean,
that's.
but but
I think
it
execution
kind of
should
goes.
be on the
But see,
table.
I think it goes bigger to who allowed him to
Who
do this.
allowed it? Yeah,
And it's the
yeah.
hospital,
Mhm.
it's this hospital, and it's the Chesapeake Regional Medical Center, and it's the
Yeah,
5 CEOs who
yeah,
turned the cheek while
yeah.
all of this was going on.
Because they were making money off this guy. This guy was bringing in money, and so
Yeah,
nobody's
and
lives mattered.
let's not gloss over the fact that these are Black women that they're doing this
Right,
to.
Yeah,
This is
right.
something,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, not just the fact that he was making money, but this is historically, I mean, that was a great transition, what they did at Fannie Lou Hamer, and
Henrietta
this is the
Lacks. It's the same
Henrietta
thing.
Lacks. Yeah, just doing what they want to Black women. And yeah, so corporations will look the other way. God forbid they were doing this to white women.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
see
Oh,
what's
right.
they're attacking low income women who don't
right.
have as much access and knowledge and taking advantage of them.
Mhm.
I mean, this is like a recurring story of when we say systemic racism and when we talk about what has been done to Black people. This right here was stuff that was done from plantation times. You know what I'm saying? And so today it's still happening. So when these people in the chat is talking about, you guys don't get over things. No, we don't get over it because it's
It
still
don't
happening to
stop.
us.
Right.
It don't stop. It is system. This is what we mean when we say systemic racism. And this is why we say Black Lives Matter.
Because
Because
man,
y'all
they
act
should
like they
execute this guy.
don't.
Yeah, that's a to me, not just murder deserves death penalty if you have a death penalty law, but stuff like this, death penalty.
And
Like,
Michael Carter brings up
gosh,
another story that we didn't talk about, but I'm glad you're highlighting it, Michael. He says, wow, that's crazy. Reminds me of the nurse in Virginia who was breaking the baby's bones. Systemic racism, indeed.
hmm
There was another story just last
yeah,
week of a nurse that was dismissed because she broke a Black baby's foot or leg. I mean, so no, this ain't, we still dealing with this.
yeah. These are stories, as Greer pointed out, that should be with Black media everywhere. Black Press USA, everywhere. It should be, Roland should be covering it. Everybody
See,
should.
we're so caught up in Trump that
Mhm.
we cannot forget the headlines that are swirling around Black people every day. Virginia nursery. This was just last week, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And think about it, because Trump is in office, because of what's happening, it gives white people in any position, whether they're a nurse, a bus driver, a teacher, they are emboldened to treat our Black community the way that they are doing. Because
Yeah.
Trump is saying that Black lives don't matter, brown lives don't matter.
And is why Black women's maternal health care, why organizations have popped up all around the country, why Black women are, like my sister has opted to have her children at home because, we can't trust these hospitals.
Right.
Right. And then they want to criminalize us for getting a doula and try to take our babies because of it. I mean, that's
Right.
happening all through the South. Black women don't want to go to the hospital because they can't trust them, and they're getting doulas, and they want to come and say, "Oh, the baby's being abused and taking the baby away." I mean, this is going on. This is some BS that's happening every day.
But this is to the point of why representation in local, state, and federal is important, because you have lawmakers like a Lauren Underwood that is on at Capitol Hill when the headlines are on it or when the headlines are off, pushing for the Omnibus Act and the provisions in that act to be distributed for Black women all across this country. That's why, like in California was the first state to pass the Omnibus Act. On a state level, because we understand the importance of Black women in healthcare, because we don't get it. Look at Serena Williams. She has all the money in the world and it still almost happened to her.
Yeah, yeah, it would have happened to her if she didn't take control. Her money didn't matter, her fame didn't matter. Um, she did a great expose on this a couple of years ago, and we talked about it. And you're
Mhm.
right. So we only mentioned her to say that if they do it to somebody who has fame and fortune, come on. What
But this
chance
is
does?
why representation matters. And when we talk about the midterms and when we talk about people running for office and how they represent us, this story right here is a prime example why it doesn't just matter on Capitol Hill in DC, but it matters on a state level in your state.
Yeah, Mike
You
V
know,
says.
who you elect.
Yeah, Mike V says Kamala ran her campaign on this, and the profilers didn't think it was important.
And look at what's happening.
Pro-lifers, I'm sorry.
And look at what's happening, you know. And so this has been exposed, and applaud these 500 Black women who said, you know, 1 billion is not enough if you took her insides and she can't have another child. You know what I'm saying? And all the, you know, if you read more into this, there are horrific stories coming out of Black women about what this man did to them.
Yeah, he said the pro-lifers didn't think it was important when Kamala ran on this. Wow. Can never find rest, Michael Carter says. Another reason why Black mortality rates are lower than other races and ethnicities. Stress and racism kill. Will it
Right.
ever come to an end? He says, he asks.
So let's talk about Black men, you know, and how Black men are
Talk
treated
about
in this
y'all.
country. Unfortunately, a Black man who was executed in Texas 70 years ago, he's been cleared in a case marked by racial bias. Okay. 70 years later, you know, thanks to the Innocence Project and some brave people. I mean, it's important, but his name is Tommy Lee Walker. He was executed in the electric chair in May of 1956 for the rape and murder of a 31-year-old Venice Parker. Now, during an emotional meeting last week, Smith, Walker's now 72-year-old son, and the victim, Venice Parker's son, they met. And the victim's son, they hugged each other, and the victim's son apologized, said, "I'm sorry for what happened." And then, of course, Walker's son replied, "I'm sorry for your loss." And so 2 individuals, white and Black, lost their parents because of racism.
And I mean, man, so he's exonerated all these years later. It's you said it's systemic, right? The courts, they put that blindfold up there. That blindfold it comes off when a Black individual walks in that courthouse. They see that Black individual, and they you know, it's more of a persecution instead of a prosecution. We've watched. Listen, there are some who believe O.J. Simpson was innocent. I'm not one of them. But I do know this. It was racism that got him acquitted. It was because those racist cops, in my view, was trying to frame a guilty man, and they got caught. I was at both Bill Cosby's trial. Whether you believe he's guilty or innocent, it was racism throughout, from the judge to the prosecutors. It was horrible. To the media, it was horrible. So all I'm saying is that these courtrooms from day one have always been, look, To Kill a Mockingbird.
But the only difference between OJ and Bill Cosby is they had the resources. We're talking about Black men that don't have the resources and that are, you know, and so I mean, it's just like the Black women, right? You know, low income women, you know, they take advantage of those that, you know, they think that they can.
Right.
Dr. Marilyn said, yes, my granddaughter is still trying to get used to this, was born last week. Congratulations. What are they calling you? Are you grandma? Are you grandma? And we made sure nothing crazy was going on. Baby never went to the nursery. Mike V says, an electric chair back then. Today they use something called a taser.
Yeah, but yeah, and you're right. It's the ones that don't have the means. But my point of bringing in an OJ or Cosby is that you're right. They had the means, and if they could do that to someone who has the means, to me, it really shows you just how deep it goes. We talked about Serena Williams, who has the fame, the fortune, the means, and they tried to do it to her.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just it's systemic. You said the word earlier, and that is the problem that we continue to see, this systemic racism. It doesn't stop, and and there are some people, like you said, that don't want us to talk about it. Well, y'all
Mhm.
not talking about it. Y'all erasing it.
Okay.
So
Yeah, Dr. Marilyn said, okay, so Dr. Marilyn, y'all, is Mimi. That's what her grandma name is, Mimi.
oh, Mimi, Dr.
Uh-huh.
Mimi Maryland.
Orange said, I would have rolled with OJ to Nicole. Oh, this house. Don't
Uh-oh.
play with my money. You know what?
Lord have mercy. This guy.
Destiny says, congratulations to Dr. Mimi Maryland. Sometimes I don't know who's worse with the rawness. Is it Stacy or Orangey? You know, who gonna tell it like it is? Tell us how you
No, it's
really
on.
feel.
It's
Tell
on.
us how y'all really feel.
She says, Dr. Mellon said, thank you all. She is beautiful.
Oh, yeah. See, we celebrated all Black joy, Black play. It's
Yeah.
all one and the same for the Black experience. All right. Let's jump into a before we're close. We're close. Let's jump into a headline about some sports. The WNBA has released its 2026 schedule without a new collective bargaining agreement in place. So players have voiced concern over unresolved issues, including revenue sharing and salary caps. The 30th anniversary season happens this year and is set to begin on May 8th, but labor tensions could affect its momentum. So we don't even know if they're going to play. What do you think, Stacy? You think they're going to come to an agreement before the first game?
I don't know. I didn't think it would get this far without, as you had said months ago, without the NBA commissioner stepping in. I thought he'd have stepped in by now, Adam Silver. But I will say this. I hate the two words in sports I hate most: salary cap. This team owners, they not only do they have money on top of money, but they get listen, y'all pay, we pay so much money to go to a game. We pay money to watch a game. Folks, buy all the jerseys and et cetera, right? They have money over money. There are certain teams that refuses to spend the money on the players, and they want a salary cap, right? No, you don't deserve WNBA for sure does not deserve a salary cap. They don't get paid anything as it is. And you want to cap it? What are you going to cap it at, $1 million? I mean, it's preposterous that at this stage of the game with the WNBA, and now they're actually making money, that they want to say, well, we're making this money, we don't want to spend it on these players. Give it a rest. Those players they got leverage, I think, Niele, and they need to use that leverage to the hilt.
I agree. 100. I 100% agree with you. I mean, let's start using our leverage from the WNBA to Capitol Hill. Get Stephen Miller out of that damn office, okay?
Oh, shoot.
Use your leverage, use your power. And I know Angel Reese and I know Asia Wilson knows how to use their leverage. I would want Angel, they know how to use their leverage.
Yeah.
And so, we'll see what happens. But, I'm looking forward to March Madness for the college, but I'm also looking forward to the WNBA. I'm a huge fan of Angel Reese and Paige Buckner. I'm a huge fan of her. I love her. And so get it together, commissioner. Or I think, okay, last note, I think they need a new commissioner.
Well, you've been saying that for half a year, and I'm surprised she's still there, because I thought for sure that they were going to get rid of her. I really did. But she's lasted this long. I mean, she's likely not going anywhere anytime soon. But that salary cap thing, that shouldn't even be on the table at all at this stage. It shouldn't be. To me, it shouldn't be on at any stage. These come on, these ownerships, they're worth billions. I asked you a few weeks back, Niele, about the Intuit Dome. That thing is $1 billion+, and it's Obama put money into it, but taxpayers foot the bill for most of these, if not all of these arenas and stadiums that we see, and you're paying taxes on it, and then you got to pay all this extra money to go see it. They're making money hand over fist. You got multi-billionaires as sports team owners, and when a player gets a nice contract, people get up in arms. Why are you paying them so much? Because you can. Because you can. And the owners who won't do it, they want to hold on to their money. That it's just a hobby. Having that team is like, it's a hobby. It's so they don't want to put any real investment into it. And that's their part. They should move. They should move aside, I should say, and let somebody else sell the team. No salary cap.
Right.
So, all right. All right. So here's something interesting. And I followed this a few years ago. Some Black women travel. Now, there's a group of Black women called Black Women Abroad, and it's founded by Krista Sanders and Jeanette Irish Stubbs. And they're launching their 2026 group travel calendar with curated cultural journeys across Africa, the Caribbean, South America, and Europe, drawing on their experience traveling to 40 plus African nations in nearly 80 countries worldwide. It's a boutique travel company that focuses on identity, affirming heritage-rooted experiences designed specifically for Black women. And they also, this year, they have their Study Abroad Student Scholarship at Spelman College, which helps students study abroad in Africa and other regions who might have some financial barriers. And you can go to blackwomenabroad.org to find out more information about the scholarships and about what they're doing this year. It's a great thing for these Black women.
Oh, I love it. I love Black women who travel. I love Black men who travel. And in this time of our nation, it's good to be able to get away and explore. We should try to get them on the show, Stacy, so they could tell us more. They'd be a great interview.
Be great, yeah. And we will do that. Niele, though, Niele Greer, Niele is asking whether or not, well, she says y'all need to plan your South Africa trip this year to that wine thing.
Oh, with Twani Price, we had her on the show. She used to be my roommate at Grambling. She's an expat now. She moved to South Africa about 5 years ago, and she never came back. But she does tap in with us from time to time, and she's definitely chiming in on what's happening here in the States. But she's free. She is curating wine experiences in South Africa. She'll actually be here this summer to do a wine tour. So I think I'm going to do that. But yes, Greer, we can work on that. But I'm interested to know with this story with the chat, have you ever been in any place where you said, I could live here? And if so, if you had to leave because of all of this Trump madness, where are you going? What country are you going to? What island are you going to? Stacy, if you had to leave, where are you going?
Oh my gosh, I would say Saint Martin, but that's that's probably in the line of fire, right? It's a beautiful place. It is absolutely beautiful place. My family, I didn't go with my family last year, but they had a great time too when they went. And Aruba is beautiful, but that's also too close to home. The one place that I did enjoy that's in Europe was Paris, France.
Yeah, okay. See, I think I would have to be a nomad for a while and just hop and to really figure, because I'm thinking South Africa, but I've never been. I've been, so I don't know. But I know, like Caribbean wise, I definitely could live in the Bahamas. Definitely could live there. Greer, you wanted to say, give your location?
For years I've been saying Costa Rica because I love that place. I go there every year. And that might still be it, but I'm with you, Niele. I think I would want to be a nomad for a little while. I want to go check out Thailand. You know what I'm saying? I might want to go to South Africa. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not committed to any particular continent at this point.
I don't know where I would want to be. I want to go to Vietnam. They say the coffee and the beaches are gorgeous. They're better than Thailand. When we were in Thailand, they said you got to go to Vietnam because it's more beautiful than Thailand. And we went to the Phi Phi Islands. We went to Phuket. I've been to Japan. I was the tallest person there, so everybody was looking at me awkward. The beds were small, so I don't think that I would be good in Asia. You know, Japan, the people are smaller, I'm bigger. You know, I don't think that's for me. But I would travel. You know what I'm saying? Ever since TikTok, I want to go to China. They living good over in China. I've seen Black people in China. I want to visit. So yes, girl, I would be a nomad and I would just roam, and then I would make my decision. We have some people in the chat, Stacy.
Well, let's see. Nancy says, "Be careful about the travel ban and travel ban in a lot of countries." And Michelle says she would go to the Caribbean. She has a lot of family members there.
And Arthur says, "How come you don't want to move back to Zimbabwe or Congo?" I want to visit. I know you're being stupid, but I want to visit there too. I want to go. I want to go
I
to
was going to
Zimbabwe.
say, I didn't know you lived in Zimbabwe or Congo, Niele.
He's being facetious, but you know, I do want to
No,
go
he's not being
visit.
facetious. He's being ridiculous, like you said. He's being ignorant. But go ahead.
Well, and so I want to go to you know, so I want to travel the world. Zimbabwe. I want to go to Zanzibar. They say the beaches are beautiful in Zanzibar. And I want to try. I want to go to Italy. You know, I want to do the Julia Roberts Eat, Pray, Love thing.
Dr. Marilyn says she's not sure yet. Ghana was cool, but their plumbing is not where I need it. But Jamaica is her favorite.
I want to go to Dirty December. I want to go to Ghana for Dirty December.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
so
The only place I've been in Africa was Malawi. We stopped in South Africa, didn't leave the airport though, so I can't really speak to South Africa. But Malawi, I've been there. Don't want to go back there.
Michael Carter says, I've thought about Thailand and about South Africa. I would need to do more research on the Bahamas LGBTQ stance. I think
And
it's
it's true.
good.
You gotta look stuff, even stuff like that. You have to know what you're getting into. So that's a good point by
That's
Michael
a good
Carter.
point. I love the countries you mentioned. See, we just left all of this behind, you know. We just freed our minds. But that's a wonderful thing to do, you know, and that's the state of Black folks in. We have, thank God for our ancestors and stuff. You know, a lot of us are able to imagine these things and actually make them happen. And so I'm happy about that for us, you know.
She said, when you go to Ghana, bring plenty of wipes. And ORG says, it doesn't matter where we move, mayonnaise people will find a way to bother us.
Okay, see, look, you and Stacy, we're gonna have to work on. We are free, and you trying to take us back into the cages. And speaking of the cages, this last story is for Grill. Since you want to take us back to mayonnaise, this last story today is for Greer, and I'm talking about Hulu had set April 8th for the premiere of The Testaments, the forthcoming sequel series to The Handmaid's Tale, based on Margaret Atwood's novel of the same name. So there we have it. The Handmaid's Tale comes back, and you could be right there with mayonnaise, Orangey. Greer, what are your thoughts about this? This is your thing.
I mean, let me tell you, The Handmaid's Tale was such a dark place. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
That's where Orangey and Stacy want to take us. So take us to the dark space.
It is a dark place. It's so real. It's still real. You totally see it. So I don't know. It might take me a minute to get, because it took me a minute to get into The Handmaid's Tale because it was so dark. You know, so I don't know. I think I might know enough now. I don't know if I want that up in my house like that.
You don't want that up in your house. But for all you Handmaid's Tale fans, you have a date set for you, April 8th on Hulu. Right in time for Easter.
Wow. She said, I don't know if I want that up in my house. Oh, gosh. All right, folks. Let's ready to do some Black Facts.
Let's do it.
All right. On this date in 1953, one of Black America's most gifted novelists, Ralph Ellison, wins the prestigious National Book Award with his powerful novel, The Invisible Man. The novel helped him achieve international fame. How about
Mm.
that? Yeah.
Did you read? I haven't read that book. Have you?
No, but I you remember the Invisible Man movies on
Mm-hmm.
TV? It used to come on TV a lot. Watch
My
that.
aunt used to like that. She used to watch
Yeah.
that. But no, but yeah, see, I didn't even know that it was written by a black man. Didn't know that.
Hey, that's what we're
Uh,
here for.
that's what
So
we're here for.
y'all should subscribe to Let It Be Known News and check us out because we're gonna give you some more stuff that you might not know. Because if Neil didn't know, then man, I'm surprised.
I'm stunned that Niele didn't know this because she's such an avid reader. But
I
I read
know.
this. I read The Invisible Man when I was a teenager. So,
You know
but
who got me? Oh, so first off, Dr. Marilyn, we are reaching out to your Dr. Marilyn recommended a novel, an author for us to get on the show for a novel that her book club read. So we're gonna get them on. But I started reading. You know who my first author that got me into reading? Well, first it was Ayanna Van Zant with Acts of Faith. But my novel was by J. California Cooper called Satisfaction of Life. I fell. I don't know if you read any of her books, but J. California Cooper, excellent writer. I think she's since passed, but she writes during like Jim Crow, post-slavery. But she gave the analogy of we'll talk about it later, but that's what got me to reading J. California Cooper. If I had a back in the day type Arthur, it would be her.
Okay.
We talked about oh, Dr. Marilyn knows who J. California. Oh, she's talking about her Arthur. We're gonna get her on. But we talked about this last week. And ironically, today is the anniversary of the 1991 rendition of the National Star Spangled Banner that Whitney Houston performed. It was an iconic rendition at the Super Bowl in Tampa, Florida. Now, it's often cited, and we debated this last week, as one of the greatest performances of the national anthem in American history, because, of course, it occurred during the Persian Gulf War, providing a powerful moment of national unity. And due to the popularity of this song, it was released as a single. Remember when we had singles back then? You can go buy it.
Yep.
Technology, you couldn't listen to this on your phone. You had to go buy this single.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful the way her rendition.
Yeah. You can't argue that it was probably one of the best. I still will stick with Marvin Gaye at the Forum.
Yeah, it's top 3 for sure. It's top 3 for sure.
Yeah. Well, who would be 2? Who would be the other one?
I mean, that's debatable. I think that Destiny's Child did a really good job. I don't know which one but they the harmony that they did. But I don't know. But I know like top 2 that people always talk about. It's pretty much this one and the Marvin Gaye one. So I would say top 2.
There was a couple of others. One was not the national anthem. It was America the Beautiful. The other one was a national anthem and America the Beautiful. Smokey Robinson, and nobody really talks about this. It was I want to say game 3 of the 1986 World Series in Boston. Smokey Robinson did a combination of the national anthem and America the Beautiful. But the best and a performance that to me rivaled Marvin Gaye's performance, and I don't put anything up there with Marvin Gaye's national anthem performance, was Ray Charles in 1981 at the Sugar Ray Leonard Roberto Duran rematch, where he sang America the Beautiful. And the way he sang it, it's like what Marvin did a year or so later with the national anthem at the Forum at the All-Star game. That rendition, Ray Charles, Sugar Ray Leonard credits Ray Charles. In fact, Sugar Ray Leonard said he was named after Ray Charles. His name is Ray Charles Leonard.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sugar said when Ray sang that before the fight, he said there was no way I was losing. And he proceeded to beat Duran into submission. Duran quit. It was the famous No Mas fight from 1981, and that rendition by Ray Charles on inside that boxing ring was unbelievable.
Right. Douglas said at least he did not sing it like Roseanne Barr.
So Jennifer Hudson, remember, she came up behind. She tried to do Whitney. She did a great job. Now she wasn't no Whitney, but she did a
Okay.
great. So those would be my top three: Marvin Gaye, Whitney Houston, and Jennifer Hudson.
Okay. I don't remember that one. I don't remember that one, but that okay. Well, your top three is who's your top three, Stacy?
Well, it would be Ray Charles, Marvin Gaye, and Whitney, right?
What about
But
Smokey?
again,
You said Smokey.
well, I gave you three, but Ray didn't sing the national anthem. It was America the Beautiful. Smokey combined them. I wish you guys would go back and look at that. I think it was either game 3 or 4 in Boston of the World Series in 1986. And Smokey sang, and I remember it like it was yesterday how he blended the two. It was like, wow, I'd never heard it done like that before. And but I think Smokey has a good voice, but he's not Ray Charles, he's not Marvin Gaye, he's not Whitney. And but the Ray Charles performance stands out because you could see they were in New Orleans, in fact, RNG's hometown, and you could see like it was 20-something thousand people packed, and you could see them swaying and moving as Ray sang the song. The boxers, Duran didn't speak any English, but he knew, right? And Ray was bouncing around like, oh my gosh, and you could read it on his face. And for him to later say, we did an interview with Ray Leonard on this program a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and he talked about that. He said exactly what I thought. You could see the movement while Ray was singing, like, there's no way I could lose this fight. But
listen,
Marvin was amazing.
It's no shade against Smokey. Okay, I just gotta keep it real. If you love Smokey Robinson's Christmas record, then you'll love his because he sings it. You don't know.
Hilarious.
You saw it. You heard it.
That's hilarious. Did you say his rendition sounds like a Christmas song? That's basically what you just said.
Like the Motown Christmas record.
And you got Stacy up here blowing it up like it's so good. And you say it sounds like a Christmas song.
It was good.
I'm just saying that if I grew up listening to the Motown Christmas record, so whenever I hear Smokey sing ballads, they all sound like that to me.
And it was I think the performance certainly was good, but I think what was about it was so surprising how he did it. It certainly doesn't, and I said it doesn't reach the levels of a Marvin Gaye or Whitney Houston or a Ray Charles. It just was good, maybe because for the time, the year, and it was surprising. Nobody expected him to do that, I don't think.
Well, before we get out of here, I think Dr. Marilyn poses a question that we can think about and talk about tomorrow. Who is the next Whitney? Grammy week is this week, and so it's a lot of music things happening. So let's come back with this question tomorrow. Who is the next Whitney? She says, I can't think of anyone who matches her musicianship. That's a good question. I'm gonna think about it. But I know one thing Whitney said. Wanye told the story of when he was dating Brandy, and Brandy was telling Whitney how he can sing. Whitney said, "Yeah, I know he can do runs, but can he hold a note?" And so Whitney was about, forget all that run. Can you hold a note? Can you sing?
I will remember Whitney that video.
That mama was, so come on now.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, I will never forget the video that came out with Whitney sitting on the couch with her mom, and they were going all in on Janet Jackson. Oh my gosh, Whitney was blasting her out because Whitney certainly at that point in her career, I mean, she's like, I want some real singers. I want somebody who could sing.
You can hold a note.
Yeah.
And that's the conversation that's happened from Robert Glasper is talking about it. They're talking about like even for Richard Smallwood's funeral. They was like, we don't. This one girl was like, we don't want you up here running all around with the runs. Can you hold a note? Can you sing the song and hold the note?
Hold the note.
So, you know, it's a good question. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Who is the next Whitney Houston as we continue to head into Grammy Week, which is happening on this Sunday, February 1st. And for the latest in Black news, that story about the 21st century icons or Black newsmakers is up. So if you want to take a deep dive into that, you can read that. And any other news that's impacting, uplifting, and inspiring the Black experience, you can find it at BlackPressUSA.com.
Subscribe to let it be known.